The Carthage Redmen looking to snap a 2-game losing streak, their first extended losing streak of the season, as they get set to take on the Elmhurst Blue Jays tonight in Kenosha. Good evening, everyone. John Weiser with you from the beautiful Tarble Arena on the campus of Carthage College in Kenosha as we get set for CCIW basketball tonight. The Redmen coming in with a record of 14-8, 7-4 in the CCIW. That's good for third place in the conference. Taking on the Blue Jays from Elmhurst College, 13-8 overall, 5-5 in CCIW play. This is a big ball game tonight for both these teams for this reason. Both Carthage and Elmhurst battling it out for that third and fourth spot, along with North Central and Augustana. The top 4 teams in the CCIW make the conference tournament at the end of the year, and this would be a big ball game either way. Should Elmhurst pick up the win here tonight, they would hold the tiebreaker edge on the Redmen, as does the Augustana Vikings, with Carthage holding the tiebreaker advantage on North Central. But a win by the Redmen tonight would put them at 8 victories on the year and should cement them in pretty good position for a conference tournament bid. Redmen coming off their second straight loss of the conference campaign on Saturday night to 23rd ranked Augustana. The final in that one, 65-58. The first half was a nip and tuck affair with 7 ties, 3 lead changes, and neither team leading by more than 4 points. Redmen led by a point at the break, 24-23, but the second half, more of the same, 4 more ties, 7 more lead changes. Neither team had more than a 4-point lead for the first 14 minutes of that second half until the Vikings extended their lead to 6, 53-47 with just under 4 minutes left. Lead went up to 8 a few seconds later, 55-47, as the Redmen went 6.5 minutes without a field goal in that final stanza. A steal and a layup by Carthage's Marlin Sr. with 2 minutes left brought the Redmen back to within 2, but Augustana converted all 8 of their free throws down the stretch and ended up winning the game by 7, 65-58. Ben Ryan, 15 points on 5 of 7 field goals and 5 of 8 free throws, along with 8 rebounds, led the way for Augustana. Malcolm Kelly had a game-high 18 points on 5 of 15 shooting, including 4 of 11 from three-point range. And coming into the game here tonight, Kelly needs one more three-point attempt to establish a new Carthage career record for three-point shooting. He is currently ranked 17th all-time on the Redmen career scoring list with just over 1,300 points. He surpassed Antoine McDaniel as the leader in three-point field goals made with 210. And as I said, needs one more attempt here tonight to set the career list for three-point field goal attempts, surpassing Aaron Hanisch with 536 of those from three-point range. To do so, they need to get past a very good Elmhurst team. Don't let that record fool you. At 13-8, 5-5 in conference play, they have played their league games extremely tough. You look at their last win on the road in the CCIW was a victory at North Park, 70-67, but they lost at North Central, 72-64, a team that the Redmen have defeated twice. They hung into Augustana a couple of weeks back on the 25th of January, only to fall down the stretch 83-74, and they fell by 12 on Saturday night in Bloomington to Illinois Wesleyan by a score of 80-68. Kyle Wiest is their leader in field goals as he comes in averaging 14 points per game, but they have another couple of good players inside. Nick Sanford, a 6'5 forward, averaging 13 points and 9 rebounds per contest, along with Will Nixon, a 6'7 forward center combo, averaging almost 7 points per ball game and 5 rebounds per contest. He has 42 shot blocks this season, averaging close to 2 per ball game. So he is a force inside. This is a team that gives up turnovers. They are turning it over more than their opponents to the tune of about 5 additional turns per game. And this is a team that's had trouble stopping the three-point shot. They're 7th in the league in three-point field goal percentage at just under 42%. And the 72 made three-pointers by their opponents this year is second most only to North Park, who has given up 91 three-point field goals this year. So perhaps the Redmen can find something from the outside. They have struggled shooting the ball of late, coming off a game in which they shot 41% against Augustana the other night. So this is a team that they need to get healthy with, and they can do so here tonight with a win over Elmhurst. And as I said, put themselves in a position to lock down a conference tournament spot. While it won't be an automatic position, it certainly would be a big step toward a conference tournament berth. We'll pause and take a 60 break. When we come back, we'll visit with Bosco Jurkovic and get his thoughts on tonight's game as our pregame show continues from the Tarble Arena in Kenosha. Carthage Redmond taking on Elmhurst. Back after this on AM 1050 WLIP. Welcome back to the Tarble Arena. Tonight, the Carthage Redmen entertaining the Elmhurst Blue Jays. A key battle in playoff positioning here to get in the top four, the CCIW, for the conference tournament. Joined now by head basketball coach Bosco Jurkovic. And Bosco, here we are. We got 3 games left in the regular season, 2 of them at home, and this becomes a critical game here to try and cement a conference tournament spot.
A lot of competition for those 3rd and 4th spots, maybe even 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, depending on what happens tonight. And this is a very important game for both sides. Elmhurst beat us down there, so they have a leg up should there be a tie at the end of the season. We win tonight, we put ourselves in pretty good shape, and that's hopefully the job that we're looking to get done tonight.
Anxious to see how your team responds here, Bosco, because it's the first time they've lost 2 straight all season, and see what they can come back with some resolve here tonight. They seem to be a resilient bunch, and they seem to put those games behind them and get back on the floor, hence the no long losing streaks this year.
I think that's very accurate. So this has been a resilient team. It's a team that takes each game one at a time, and those are good things. Saturday left a bad taste in my mouth. I just didn't think we played as well as we needed to. It was the first time all year that we were dominated on the boards. Thought we had kind of fixed that, and for 20 games, 21 games, whatever it was, we had. And this game Saturday reminded me too much of several of the games last year where we just weren't competitive on the boards. Forgetting everything else, and you could find a lot of things that we could have done better. When you lose 39-22 on the boards and you do it at home, you haven't done a good job.
We talked about it. It's not so much the physical factor, it's the mental factor of wanting to get after a loose ball and get in there and fight for that ball.
When you play small, and we have been a smaller team rather than a bigger team because it fits our personnel, everybody has to contribute. The previous Saturday against the North Central team that we know is a good team and is playing very well right now, our perimeter people combined for 20 rebounds. I want to tell you that Saturday they combined for 5. And that is a huge difference. Everybody has to pitch in. It can't just be thrown into the lap of Castell and Van Wyck and Marlin Sr. Otherwise, what happened Saturday is what's going to happen.
Offensively, it's been a little bit of a struggle here the last couple of ball games, maybe going back 3-4 games offensively for you. What are you looking for your team here offensively tonight?
A little better ball movement, a little more consistency, and making open shots. I think that's still the biggest part about this basketball game. When the shots go in, everybody looks good. The players look good, the system looks good, the coach looks good. And if the shots don't, everybody wants to know how come you're not shooting the ball in the basket. Well, realistically, we couldn't shoot the ball as well as we had during that 7 out of 8 stretch. Kelly's numbers were off the charts as far as quality of shots, percentage of shots made, etc. So there was going to be a cooling off period. It just kind of happened at the wrong time, and we really weren't able to persevere through it the last 2 nights.
Team coming in here tonight, the Elmhurst Blue Jays, 5-5 record in conference play, and they've got a fine player in Kyle Wiest. Scored 17 points on you last time out, averaging about 14 a game, and he's a pretty complete player. Leads the team in assists as well.
They have a very good basketball team in the fact that there's nobody that you cannot guard. They have 5 good players. They come off the bench with another 2 good players, so they're a very complete basketball team. John Baines, in his first year as Elmhurst, has done an outstanding job. Very careful in his non-league preparation. They didn't play much, got through that at 8-3, and they have played very well in the conference. You have to give them credit. Big ball game tonight for both sides, as we said.
Yeah, they're very aggressive inside. A very good rebounding team, coming in almost a +4 in conference games on the glass. So there you go. There's your key right there.
Traditionally been an Elmhurst mantra is let's go to the boards. That goes back to Mark Scherer, who was the coach there for 17 years. They valued shot selection and rebounding 1-2-2-1, and this hasn't changed any. They're still a very good offensive team, getting good shots, but they do an excellent job on both boards. And between Nixon and Sanford, they've got two excellent inside players.
Look, tonight, maybe get Marlin back on track here a little bit. He's scuffled around here a little bit the last couple of ball games. And when we say that, you look at the numbers and you say, well, he's still scoring in double figures, but I think to get him more of an offensive flow early here, get his confidence going.
Marlin has been consistent all year long. And yet the last 3 or 4 games, for whatever, it's been sort of an understated consistency. We had come to expect Marlin to be that 15, 16.78 rebound guy. And for whatever reason, whether we're not getting him enough shots, whether he's not shooting the ball with confidence, whether he's just not working hard enough to get open, the last 3-4 games have been good Marlin, but not outstanding Marlin. And we need Marlin to take that step up. He has really been a good player all year long.
Your keys for the game here tonight for a win?
I guess we go back to last year's tape and just play it over and over again. Rebound the ball, rebound the ball, rebound the ball. Having said that, we have to pressure them. They're not a good ball handling team. We have to expose that as we did in the second half down there. I don't think it's going to be a reckless 40-minute pressing game, but we need to extend our defense, make them handle the ball versus pressure. And then offensively, we need to move the basketball a little bit better. We've got a lot of things that enable us to move it side to side. We've been a little bit flat the last couple of games, and as everybody knows, 3 games left, 2 home games. Every one of these is an important game for conference tournament consideration, for conference tournament position, and there would be no reason to not come out fired up tonight. And I think after the last couple of days of practice, we'll see that.
Go get them tonight.
Thanks, Johnny.
Bosko Jurkovic, head basketball coach for your Carthage College Redmen, as they get set to take on the Elmhurst Blue Jays tonight from the Tarble Arena in Kenosha. We'll pause and take a 60 break. When we come back, we'll give you the starting lineups and the tip-off of tonight's game right after this on 1050 WLIP. John Weiser back with you at the Tarble Arena in Kenosha on the campus of Carthage College. Glad you're along tonight for our broadcast between the Carthage Redmen and the Elmhurst Blue Jays. Some news notes that came out late this afternoon. The first of the regional rankings came out by the NCAA. And in the men's division in the Midwest region, of which Carthage belongs, Washington University is number 1 ranked in the region at 18-2, followed by Illinois Wesleyan at 18-3. Wheaton is number 3 at 16-6. Augustana at 16-6. Ranked 4th. St. Norbert College is ranked 5th in the region with a 17-1 mark, and Carthage ranked 6th at 13-7. Reason for that difference there for the Redmen is because of their 2 games. The game against Cardinal Stritch and the game against Silver Lake does not count in their total for regional, since those are not NCAA Division III games. So that's the difference there. So Carthage checking in 6th place in the Midwest region. On the women's side, the Central region is where Carthage Lady Reds would reside. They are in a tie for first in the Central region. Both Washington University and Carthage at 18-2 in regional play. Carthage 19-2 overall, and ranked 2nd in the region, right behind Washington U. Right behind the Lady Reds, UW Whitewater, with their 3 losses, one of those to the Lady Reds. UW Oshkosh is ranked 4th in the region at 18-2. Wisconsin Lutheran at 5th, UW Stevens Point 6th, and Illinois Wesleyan comes in ranked 7th in the region. So the Lady Reds going into their game tonight down at Elmhurst ranked 2nd in the Central region. And again, that's where you get to your ideas of who would host a pod in the first and second round, and it comes down to that victory over Whitewater. That could be a key factor for the Lady Reds as far as perhaps hosting a pod of teams in the first and second round of the NCAA tournament. Let's move along to the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. First for the Elmhurst College Blue Jays under new head coach John Baines. Baines taking over for Mark Scherer, who retired last summer. A longtime assistant for Mark, and coming from the St. Francis program in the Chicagoland Conference out of the NAIA. Baines' lineup goes as follows. Pat Coleman will start at a guard, 6'2", 190, a sophomore out of North Chicago. Kyle Wiest will start at a guard. Wiest, a 6'1" sophomore from Edinburgh, Indiana, leads the team in scoring, averaging 14 per game. Taylor Baxter in the starting lineup, a 3-guard, 6'5" senior out of Minonk, Illinois. He is averaging 9.6 points per game. Will Nixon will play center. Nixon, a 6'7", 210-pound sophomore from Plainfield, Illinois, 7 points, 8 rebounds per game. And Nick Sanford, the 6'5", 210-pound senior out of Decatur, Illinois. He is averaging 13 points, 9 rebounds per contest. So it'll be Coleman, Wiest, Baxter, Nixon, and Sanford for John Baines and the Blue Jays. For the Carthage Redmen, it'll be Kevin Sykes Jr. starting at a guard. Sykes, a 6'3" senior out of Tinley Park, Illinois, averaging just a shade under 11 per game. Dante Logan will start at the point guard spot tonight. Logan, a junior out of Skokie, Niles West, averaging 4.3 assists per game. Amongst the leaders, he's number 3 in the CCIW in that category. Marlin Sr. will start at a forward, a 6'5" senior out of Niles North, averaging 15 points per game. Mike Costell, the team's leading rebounder, gets a start tonight, 6'7" junior out of St. Charles, Illinois, averaging 7.2 boards per contest. And Malcolm Kelly, the team leader in scoring, 18 points overall, averaging almost 21 points per game in CCIW play. Kelly, the senior, out of Kenosha Ruther High School. So it is Sykes, Logan, Kelly, Sr., and Costell for head basketball coach Bosko Jurikovic. Let's head downstairs to Adam King for our national anthem tonight.
In remembering Captain Vavrin, we pay tribute to all who have sacrificed their lives to our country and honor those who today put themselves in harm's way in service to America. To honor America, please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Carthage student Matt Tomei.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright star through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Matt Tomei with our national anthem tonight, Carthage senior, and doing a fine job as always here at the Tarble Arena. And we gave you the starting lineups: Coleman, Wiest, Baxter, Sanford, and Nixon for the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays defeated the Redmen earlier this year 73-70, a furious comeback in the second half by the Redmen. They were down 22 with about 16 minutes left in that ball game, and Malcolm Kelly came to life, scoring 17 of his game-high 24 points in that contest. But it wasn't enough as the Redmen fell 73-70 on the road at Elmhurst. This becomes a huge ball game, and you heard Bosko mention the tiebreaker factor. Should Elmhurst win this ball game, they would own the tiebreaker on the Redmen. Augustana, with their 2 wins over Carthage, also has the tiebreaker advantage. Augie's sitting just behind the Redmen in 4th place in the CCIW standings at 6-5. So this could turn out to be quite a battle here going into the final week and a half. Let's head back downstairs to Adam King for the Carthage Redmen starting lineup.
The starting lineup for your Carthage Redmen. At 4 to 6'5" senior from Skokie, Illinois, number 30, Marlin Senior. At guard, a 6'3" senior from Tinley Park, Illinois, number 5, Kevin Sykes Jr. And at guard, a 6-foot senior from Kenosha, Wisconsin, number 25, Malcolm Kelly. At center, a 6'7" junior from St. Charles, Illinois, number 40, Mike Costell. At guard, a 5'11" junior from Evanston, Illinois. He wears number 21, Dante Logan. Your Redmen are coached by Bosco Jerichovic. He's assisted by C. Jerichovic, Quincy French, Jose Garcia, and John Voinovich.
Redmen and the Blue Jays tonight from the Tarble Arena in Kenosha. John Weiser with you. Glad you're along tonight for this one. Blue Jays in the light blue jerseys, light blue shorts trimmed out in white and navy blue. Carthage white jerseys, white shorts trimmed out in red and black. The men on the whistle tonight: Brian Fitzgerald, Rick O'Neill, and Craig Jeffries. Big ball game tonight here in Kenosha. Big one going on down in Naperville tonight. 5th-ranked Illinois Wesleyan taking on North Central tonight. Wheaton is at North Park. Augustana is at Milliken. And the opening tip taken down by the Blue Jays, as it was Nixon beating out Costell on the opening tap. Man-to-man defense here for the Redmen as we are underway. Ball loose on the floor. Diving for it, Marlin Sr. throws it in the backcourt. And it's through the hands of Dante Logan and out of bounds underneath the basket on the north end. It'll be Blue Jay basketball. Carthage going to open up with some pressure here on the Blue Jays. You heard Bosco talk about it. And we got a line violation. Stepping over the line to toss the ball in for the Blue Jays was Wiest. And so a turnover, 2 straight here by the Blue Jays. Carthage will get possession in the offensive end. They'll throw it into Marlin Sr. He'll dribble it back up top for the Redmen, hand it off to Logan. Man-to-man defense here for the Blue Jays. Logan now backs it off high on the right wing. He's guarded heavily by Coleman. Now works it off to Sr. backing down on Sanford. Turnaround shot in the paint by Sr. No good. Rebound, Malcolm Kelly in the middle. Able to clear it out, and the Redmen will reload. Logan now between the circles, dishes it off to Kelly high on the right. Middle of the floor, Costell reversing left side to Logan. Logan back up top to Sr. Fakes the shot now on the dribble drive. We got a hand check foul on the way to the basket. Committed that time by Nick Sanford. It's going to be a load tonight, I think, for Sanford, and matching up with Marlin Sr. Marlin has that quick first step as he puts that ball down on the floor, able to draw the foul on the hand check. Carthage will retain possession. Minute gone by here in our first half, still looking for our first basket. Logan now backs it all the way out near the center circle on the left-hand dribble. Guarded by Coleman, slings it off right side Kelly. Inside Costell, backing down on Nixon. Got around Nixon, left-hand layup, too strong. Battle for the loose ball inside, goes off of Costell's shoulder out of bounds to the Blue Jays. Oh, Mike had a nice move to the basket, maybe a little too strong that time as he faked to his left, spun to his right. Tried to lose Nixon in the paint, and I think he was surprised at how clean a look he had and overlaid it. Now back across is Coleman for the Blue Jays. Penetrates below the arc, hands it back off to Sanford. Ball faking, looks for some help, finds Coleman again. Back around to Wiest, now into the hands of Baxter. Baxter takes the dribble across the top. Setting this offense up behind the arc here. They have yet to penetrate. Now they're working off near wing. To Wiest, cut off there with 6 on the shot clock, and we got a travel by Pat Coleman as he took the extra step, knowing the shot clock was down to 5. Tried to motor it to the basket. 3rd consecutive turnover by the Blue Jays. So it'll be Carthage ball in the backcourt. A scoreless deadlock here with 18:10 remaining in our first half. Logan now racing up on Coleman. Now dishes it back. Kelly for three. That one is good, and that's your all-time leader in three-point attempts. Malcolm Kelly needed that one, passing up Aaron Hainish for the all-time lead in three-point field goal attempts, now with 527 in Kelly's career. 3-0 Redmond. Weiss now had it deflected out by Logan out of bounds. It'll be Blue Jay basketball. Quick substitution here. Nathan Rogers, a 6'1 freshman from North Crawfordsville, Indiana, checking in. He will replace Kyle Weiss. Blue Jays will inbound left of their basket. They'll get it into Coleman in the left corner, guarded by Kelly. Kelly able to deny him there. Now they work it inside. Nixon trying to get it on Castell. Castell with the quick hands, but came across the arm and commits the foul. First foul on Castell, first on the Redmond. Blue Jays will retain possession left of the basket. 3-0 Redmond, 2.5 minutes in. Nixon now high on the left to Sanford, top of the circle, driving on Senior, lost the dribble, picked it up high, now turns around, fires it up off the heel, no good, got his own rebound at the free throw line. Kicks it back out, Coleman for three straight on, that one's no good, rebound Marlin Senior. He'll bring it down for the Redmond, off to Kelly to Logan. Logan now will set it up high on the right to Castell, working on Nixon, bump, lost it out of bounds. And Rick O'Neill says it was a deflected out off of Castell, and a timeout taken by Elmhurst. It'll be a 30-second timeout. Stopping play with 17-13 in the half, and a 3-0 Redmond lead. And the Lady Reds in action tonight, as they are taking on the Elmhurst Blue Jays down in Elmhurst. And we'll try and follow that ball game for you as closely as we can. That game just tipping off as we speak. On the men's side, a couple of games just underway. 3-3 tie between North Central and Illinois Wesleyan 4 minutes in. And Wheaton has gotten the jump on North Park in Chicago tonight, 14-2, your lead 5 minutes into that ball game. Augustana and Milliken tonight from Decatur. And the Vikings lead the Big Blue by 6. 6 minutes gone by in that contest. Blue Jays again facing pressure in the backcourt. Carthage coming out in full court press mode here early on tonight, as Rogers now yet to get it across the center line, and does. Just beats the 25 count, now drives it, or the 10-second count, now drives it up to the basket and lays it in. Got past Logan, who guarded him hard just to midcourt and then lost him. And then the easy bucket in for Rogers. 3-2. Carthage in front here. Sykes now high on the right. Feeds Kelly below the arc, right side. Guarded by Coleman. Step back. Got Coleman off his feet. Threw it off the glass. Drew the foul. As Kelly does so well, that little jab step move to get his defender off the floor and then leans in with the shot and got the foul call. Pat Coleman's foul, his first, second on the Blue Jays, and Malcolm Kelly on the line for the Redmond. Kelly nails the first free throw. This is his 15th ball game, his 11th start of the year. Overall, averaging 18.6 points per game, but in conference play, Malcolm Kelly, second leading scorer in the conference, averaging just under 21 per contest. Second free throw up and in. Malcolm Kelly makes them both. Lead back out to 3, 5-2. 3.5 minutes in here in Kenosha. Coleman again works it across. Gets it to Rogers. Rogers into the corner to Baxter. Baxter back up top to Coleman, reversing around to Rogers once again. Spinning, hands it off to Coleman on the right side. Reversing left, Sanford, top of the arc. Now takes the dribble between the circles. Hands it back off to Baxter. Good job defensively here as Baxter will fire up a three with a hand in his face. Tough three-point shot. Taylor Baxter that time over the top of Marlin Sr. And we're tied at 5. Good defensive work there by Marlin. Did all he could, had both hands in his face, and still got that one away. Here's Sykes for 3 left side. That's too strong. Marlin with an offensive rebound, but walked with the basketball as he tried to take it back out of the paint. Third turnover for the Redmond. Eric Crittenden, a 6'7" sophomore from Crete, Illinois, in now for the Blue Jays. We're tied at 5 here, 15:45 remaining first half. Coleman down the floor, working on Kelly, and an offensive foul. Late whistle by Craig Jeffries. Going to get Coleman for the chicken wing on Malcolm Kelly. Somewhat questionable there. And that's 2 quick fouls on Coleman. He will come out. Peyton Wyatt will check in now. Wyatt, a 5'11" sophomore from Newton, Illinois, take over at the guard spot here. He'll pick up Logan here on the left wing. Logan off to Castell between the circles. Now works it back to top. Off to Kelly. Kelly now driving. We got a whistle and a hand check foul this time on Nathan Rogers. So fouls starting to mount up here against Elmhurst. That's their 4th team foul. Again, Kelly was driving off the right side. There was just a slight bump. Brian Fitzgerald on that call. Now senior going up strong to the basket, left side, knocked to the floor, missing, and Will Nixon comes away with it for the Blue Jays. Back the other way, shot taken and missed by Baxter. Back the other way comes Logan. Logan now hands it off to Marlin. Thought about it, reloads, gets it to Kelly. Left side 3, rolls the rim, no. Battle inside, taken away by Senior. Good hustle by Marlin Senior on the offensive glass, taking that one away from Crittenden to reload for the Redmen. Carthage now with the 5 boards, 3 of them on the offensive glass. Now they try and work it inside to Castell, broken up nicely by Nixon. Back the other way come the Blue Jays, and Sykes called for the body check that time on Baxter, racing down the left side of the floor. First foul on Sykes, second on the Redmen. And a timeout taken by the Redmen here. It'll be a 30-second timeout. 5.5 minutes gone by. We are tied at 5 here in Kenosha. Carthage 1 for 6. That one a 3-pointer by the Malcolm Kelly, plus his 2 free throws. He has all 5 of the Carthage points thus far. Elmhurst 2 for 5 shooting, including a 3-pointer. Turnovers even at 4 apiece. Carthage holding the advantage on the boards early here, 5-3, but 3 of them on the offensive glass. If you were with us on Saturday, the Redmen went throughout the entire first half without an offensive rebound against the Augustana Vikings. So a much better start on the glass tonight for the Redmen. A better effort getting to what we would term those 50-50 balls that come off the rim. Blue Jays looking to inbound. We got a technical foul on who now? What do we have here? Reached over. Dante Logan called for a technical foul. It's going to get Rick O'Neill over here to the near side talking to Bosco and wants to know what he did that set them off, or set off the technical. He said he stood on the end line and reached over and grabbed the ball, knocking it out of the hands of the defender. So a technical foul has been assessed to Dante Logan. That also counts as a personal foul on Logan. Logan with a wry smile on his face, talking with Rick O'Neill about that. They'll inbound again, this time from the left of the basket. They get it into Crittenden, lays it up and in. Eric Crittenden in the paint that time off the inbound feed, and the Blue Jays have opened up a 4-point lead. 9-5 Elmhurst. Now Kelly between the circles. Gives it off to Sykes. Sykes here on the left wing, guarded by Ackerman. Gives it back to Kelly high on the right. Kelly guarded by Rogers. Now picks up the dribble, finds Logan out middle of the floor. 10 to shoot here for the Redmen. Gets a screen from Senior. Logan will pull up, free throw line jumper, no good. Rebound, Kevin Sykes. Carthage getting to the offensive boards here early on. Now Marlin Senior on the feed from Logan, driving in right side, lays it up and in. Excellent feed by Logan into the right block that time, and Senior able to lay it up and in. First two tonight for Marlin. Cuts the deficit to 2, 9-7 Elmhurst. 6.5 minutes in. Now Rogers, floater with the right hand is good. Tough shot that time over Kelly. Avoided the contact, flipped it up with the right hand, and the teardrop falls for Rogers. 11-7, lead back out to 4 now for Elmhurst. Marlin now turning, facing the basket left block, fires it up and in. Left side baseline jumper that time. Went over Crittenden, did Senior. Back-to-back buckets for Marlin. He has 4, the deficit down to 2. Now Wyatt with it. On the dribble across the top, hands it back to Crittenden. Crittenden looking for relief, now reverses it left side over to Ackerman. Ackerman, they roll it inside. Nice move. Weaving to the basket was Panic. And the ball is deflected out of bounds off of Marlin Senior. Did not touch the rim. It'll be Blue Jay ball with 11 to shoot as Cameron Van Wyk and Reese Hirth will check in for the Redmen. Van Wyk coming in, a 6'6 junior, and Hirth, a 6'2 junior. Again, 11 to shoot here as Wiest back in now. Inbounds the ball for the Blue Jays. With 5 on the shot clock, way up high with it is Ackerman. Deep 3, blocked by Senior, he'll take it away. Marlin with the block and the steal the other way. Back to Sykes, back to Marlin. He'll set it up to Logan now on the left wing. Logan now penetrates the paint, kicks into the right corner to Sykes. Sykes now dribbles out of trouble to Van Wyk down low, right side, lays it up and in. Cameron Van Wyk got around Payunk that time on the right side to tie the game at 11. Again, it happened on the defensive end of the floor with the Senior block and steal. 11 all here, 8 minutes in. Now nearly a double dribble that time by Crittenden. Hands it back off to Ackerman, fires for 3 and hits. Crittenden able to set the screen, Ackerman able to fire over the top, and the Blue Jays back up by 3, 14-11. Now Hirth. Left side, dribbles inside the arc, fires from there, no good. Van Wyk with another offensive board for the Redmen. Off to Sykes to Logan. Carthage now with 5 offensive rebounds here in this first half. Now Hirth, free throw line jumper, that one's short. Good defensive effort that time by Paynuck. And the rebound deflects over to Marlin Senior, and again the Redmen getting an offensive board. 6 of their 9 have come on the offensive side here for Carthage. Senior for 3 left side. That one's in. Kevin Sykes able to get the ball to Senior high on the left wing. The defense able to stay down. Crittenden did not get out in time, and Senior ties the game at 14. Now Wiest with it. Works it back to Crittenden. Takes the dribble across the top. Hands it off to Rogers high on the right. To Ackerman high on the right. Back to Crittenden, nearly got it away from Sykes. Now knocks Sykes to the floor. They both take a tumble, and out of bounds with it goes Crittenden. Sykes fell down in front of Crittenden, and Crittenden continued his dribble to the basket, tripped over Sykes, and went out of bounds with the ball. Turning it over back to the Redmen, their 5th turnover now for Elmhurst here in the first half. Sean Valentine in for the Redmen, the 6'4 sophomore out of Crystal Lake, Prairie Ridge. So we have Hirth, Valentine, Van Wyk, Senior, and Logan on the floor for the Redmen. As Van Wyk reversing it around to Valentine. Hands it off to Hirth. Back inside it goes to Van Wyk, out to Logan. Logan high on the right, takes the dribble around Wiest. Wiest, Sanford, Rogers as Senior for 3, knocks it in. Marlin now with 10 first half points. We talked about it getting him going early, and he certainly has. 10 of his team's 17, the lead out to 3. On the drive, circling around, Ackerman throws it up and in. Redmond again late getting over on the defensive stop to prevent the dribble penetration. And Ackerman takes it right to the rim. 5 points for Ackerman. Redmond lead to 1. Logan now. Gets a nice screen from Van Wyk. Logan penetrates through the lane, scoops with the right hand, finds the rim and in. enough little spin off the glass that time by Dante Logan as it came off the glass, hit the front of the rim, and fell through. Logan's first 2 points of the night. 19-16, Redmond by 3, 9:20 to go in the half. High on the right, it is Rogers. To Weiss, to Sanford. Back over to Rogers. Rogers now up top. Taking the three is Ackerman. That rattles out, no good. Rebound, Marlin Sr. Clears it out to Logan down the right side. Gets a screen from Valentine. Back to Valentine. Little pick and roll. Valentine for three. Knocks it in. Now they're going to give him a deuce. He was just inside the red three-point arc. Nonetheless, a nice move. The pick and roll worked to perfection that time. 21-16, Redmond to 5. Weiss now driving in from the right side, cut off by Logan. Gets it back up to Ackerman. Ackerman to Sanford. Sanford left of the free throw line. Will put it up from there. No good. Rebound inside. And going back up with it is Nixon, missing, and Marlin Sr. able to come away with it. Carthage, an excellent job on the glass, out-rebounding the Blue Jays, 11-4 thus far. Now Hurth fakes the shot, gets to the top of the circle, over Sanford. It clings off the rim, no good. Rebound pulled in by Ackerman. 21-16 Redmond, 8:10 to go in the half. Ball loose on the floor. Nixon had it, lost it. Valentine diving for it, ties him up, held ball to the Redmond. That ball slipped through the hands that time of Nixon. Had to go down on it between his ankles to look for it. And Valentine diving on the floor ties him up for the held ball. Malcolm Kelly back in for the Redmond, replacing Logan. Also McNellis and Miles Olson in now for the Redmond. Olson, the sophomore from East Troy. McNellis, the freshman from Downers Grove South. 21-16, Redmond lead by 5. 7:50 to play in the half. Van Wyk back up top to Valentine for three. That's a rattle out, no good. Rebound Weiss. Halfway down, and it popped back out that time on Valentine. Now Coleman back out there. Works it off to Nixon. Around to Weiss on the left wing. Weiss now top of the circle. Gives it up to Sanford. Sanford now bounces off of Olson. Hands it back to Coleman. Back out to Weiss for three. That one's short. Offensive board for Nixon. Loose inside. Nixon got it. Threw it back up. Missed. Van Wyk with the rebound. Out to Olson. Now to Valentine. Carthage will reload. 12 boards tonight for the Redmond. Now Kelly. High on the left. Works it off to Van Wyk. Around to Olson right side. Guarded by Coleman. Ball faking. One dribble back to Valentine. Fakes the shot. Steps back out with the dribble. 9 to shoot here for the Redmond. Back into the hands of Kelly. Kelly guarded by Weiss. Valentine will set the screen. Kelly dribbles around him. Throws it up from the left corner. That one's no good. Rebound pulled in by Baxter. Down the floor quickly. Coleman pulls up on Olson, missing the 15-footer. Ball deflects to McNellis. He'll pull it down for the Redmond. 6.5 minutes to go here in our first half. 21-16, Redmond lead. Now with it is Kelly. Works it off to Valentine. Around to Olson. High on the right. Gets a screen from McNellis. A hard screen. Back to McNellis on the roll. Lays it up short. Tap back up. Can't come up with it as Sanford able to step in front of Kelly for the rebound. All things good there except the finish that time by McNellis. Able to establish the screen, roll off of it. Got the return pass, but just could not finish. Now the Blue Jays set it up. Weiss for three. That's an air ball underneath. Picked back up and flipping it up and drawing the foul is Taylor Baxter. That ball landed short. Baxter underneath, able to gobble it up. Went back up with it strong and drew the foul. Valentine committing the foul, his first, the fourth on the Redmond, and the first trip to the free throw line tonight. Make it the second trip to the line tonight for Elmhurst. And at the line is Taylor Baxter, able to connect. Payunk and Rogers back in. Baxter 77% from the line this year. Nails both free throws. Cuts the deficit to 3. 21-18. 5:50 to go here in the first half. Olson with it between the circles. Still with the dribble, trying to get around Coleman. Now gives it off to Kelly, high on the left. Kelly guarded by Rogers. Back up top to Van Wyk. Hands it back to Kelly with 15 to shoot. Kelly now on the dribble drive. Jump stop in the paint, traveled with it. Couple extra hops in the paint. Kelly looking for a foul in there, but none coming. Took that dribble to the left side and then jump stop in the paint, but then left his feet a second time trying to lean in. Now Sanford going over McNellis, overlaid, ball loose, picked up by Olson. Redmond crashing the boards hard here in this ball game. Back to McNellis, got away with a walk, driving in left side. Floats one up and over the top of Kenny Payunk. Scott McNellis, little floater off the left side, past Payunk, and the lead out to 5. Coleman walked with the basketball. Took the extra step before he put it down on the floor. 7th turnover committed by Elmhurst as Marlin Sr. and Kevin Sykes will check back in, replacing McNellis and Valentine. Nice minutes for both Valentine and McNellis tonight. Redmond lead to 5, under 5 minutes to go here in our first half. Now Olson hands it off to Senior. He'll pop from 20 right side. That crawls off the rim, no good. Battle for the loose ball. And we got a foul. Nope. Goes out of bounds. It actually hit the top of the backboard. So it will be Blue Jay basketball. (23-18) steal by Sykes as he stepped in front of Baxter that time. Will take it all the way down and lay it up and in. Coleman was trying to get that ball back to Baxter, top of the circle. Sykes read it well and got the steal. And now the ball deflects out of bounds off of Malcolm Kelly as they tried to double team Nathan Rogers. Largest lead of the game at 7 here for the Redmen, 25-18. 4:15 to play as the Blue Jays inbound. Rogers works it around to Sanford. Sanford left side to Coleman out of the left corner, takes the dribble up top, now penetrates, dumps it back. We got a whistle and a foul, a hand check after the dish by Coleman. Foul's going to go on Van Wyk. That's his first. 5th on the Redmen. Kyle Wiest will check back in. Also coming in for the Redmen will be Mike Costell replacing Van Wyk. 25-18, Redmen lead. 4:04 to play here in our first half. Now Sanford with it up top. Gets it off to Payunk. Into the corner to Wiest right side. A little hop shot that time by Baxter. And it goes out of bounds off of Sanford, out of bounds. So it'll be Carthage ball going the full length here with 3:45 to play and the Redmen up 7. Olson to Sykes high on the left, gets it off to Costell. Now to Kelly, right side. Reversing left, now to Miles Olson. Olson up top to Senior, rolls it inside to Costell. Couldn't gather it in, kicks it back out to Olson for 3. That's a rattle out, no good. Sanford had the rebound and was fouled by Marlin Senior. Senior trying to strip it out of Sanford's hand that time and dropped the axe across the arms, and Senior called for the foul, his first, the 6th on the Redmen. Wiest will trigger the inbound. Carthage again will go in full court press mode. Coleman now guarded by Kelly. Kelly slipped as he tried to go for the steal. Coleman able to get around to Sanford, driving in right side, lays it up short but drew the foul. That'll be the 7th team foul on the Redmen, so bonus free throws the rest of the way out for the Blue Jays. Costell picks up foul number 2. At the line, Nick Sanford. A 78% shooter from the stripe this year, his first trip to the line tonight. Looking for his first points tonight. Softly drops the first one in. Sanford 13 points, 9 boards per game. Has 19 blocks on the season, just under 2 per game. makes the second. Cuts the deficit to 5, 25-20 with 3:10 remaining here in our first half. Olsen now high in the right wing, dumps it down low right side. Senior working on Sanford, lays it up with the left hand and in. Excellent body work that time by Senior, backing down Sanford, going from right to left, using the left hand, finishing with the left hand. 12 points on the night now for Marlin. We talked about that with Bosco, getting him going early, getting back to that consistency on the point total as well as his all-around game. And the ball loose. Marlin Senior nearly picked it away from Sanford, and as he did, deflected off his foot out of bounds. Eric Crittenden, Nixon, and Wyatt will check back in for the Blue Jays, replacing Coleman, Sanford, and Payunk. 2:36 to play here in our first half. 27-20, Redmond with the 7-point lead. Dante Logan in for Miles Olsen now. Blue Jays will inbound with 13 to shoot. They'll get it into Wyatt. Wyatt now guarded by Kelly. Gets a screen from Nixon, hands it back off to Baxter. Baxter, a one-legged three as the shot clock went down. Rebound pulled away by Costell. Gives it off to Kelly, or to Logan, I should say. Logan keeping it alive on the dribble between the circles. Logan dumps it back. Senior alone for three. Got it. Marlin Senior on fire. He is now 6 of 9 from the floor. 3 for 3 from behind the arc. 15 in the first half for Marlin. Biggest lead of the game now at 10 for the Redmen. 1:53 to play. Crittenden nearly losing it. Dumps it back out. Gets it to Baxter. Baxter now with a dribble across the top. Cut off by Costell. Back out to Wiest for three. That one's too strong. Rebound Senior, and we got an over the back foul called on Crittenden. Good position inside again by the Redmen defensively. As Marlin Senior got the inside position on Crittenden, who had to go over his back and commit the foul. First on Crittenden, 5th on the Blue Jays. Reese Hurth back in now for the Redmen, replacing Malcolm Kelly. Baxter back in there for the Blue Jays, along with Ackerman. 30-20, Redmond lead, 90 seconds to go in the half. Marlin Senior now, ball faking out on the right wing, kicks it back up top to Logan, around to Hurth. Hurth thought about the three, reloads, gets it back out to Logan. 13 to shoot here as Logan gets around the Senior screen, dumps it back to Marlin. Marlin again left alone on the arc. That time wild shot missing. Offensive board by Costell, lays it back in. Excellent job by Mike Costell that time to get the offensive board for the easy stick back. Carthage with 7 offensive rebounds here in this first half. Lead to 12 with under a minute to go. They roll it inside. Nixon lost the handle on it, got tied up by Sykes, held ball, possession arrow back to the Blue Jays. Second time tonight, Nixon's had trouble with the ball on the bounce feed on the block. This time Sykes tying him up as he muffed the original pass. They'll put 15 back on the shot clock here. Van Wyk will check back in for Costell. Good move here, as Costell with 2 fouls don't want to pick up that third foul. 2:27 left in the first half down in Elmhurst. The Lady Reds leading the Blue Jays 21-17. Trying to get you some more information on that game during our halftime programming here. Off the inbound, a wild three by Wyatt out of the left corner. It goes out of bounds, deflects off of Ackerman. Both he and Logan were battling for that miss, and Ackerman the last to touch it, going out of bounds. 36 seconds left, 3-second differential. Game clock to shot clock here. So Carthage, for all intents and purposes, can take it down to about 5 seconds to get a shot off here. Senior way up high, will give it off to Logan. Marlin Senior with 15 first half points. Logan on the drive, going all the way to the basket, lays it off the glass and in. Defense kind of collapsed in the middle that time, allowing Logan to keep going with the dribble penetration, and he got it right to the rim. Back the other way. Again, they shuffle it into Mixon. He throws it up wildly, somehow drew a foul and got bailed out by Craig Jeffries, who calls the foul on Marlin Sr. Well, that was a wild-looking play there. Nixon just got that pass again, couldn't handle it, and just all in one motion just tried to flip it toward the basket. Got bailed out on the foul call. So Will Nixon will go to the free throw line. Just over 70% on the season. Looking for his first points tonight and drops in the free throw. Rogers will check in, replacing Wyatt for Elmhurst. One more toss here for Nixon. Nixon, last time these two teams played, 14 points, 23 minutes. Tonight, 2 points as he makes the second free throw here. 34-22. Final 4 seconds here. Logan quickly across midcourt, gives it to Sykes. Sykes for three at the buzzer, and it comes up short. Came off the heel of the rim, and so the Redmen will take a 12-point lead into the locker room. It's Carthage 34, Elmhurst 22. We'll pause and take a 2-minute break. We'll return with our halftime programming right after this on AM 1050 WLIP. Ready to go here for the start of the second half. 34-22, I should say. Redmen in front. Sykes, Logan, senior. And it looks like it'll be Kelly and Castell for the Redmen. For the Blue Jays, Coleman, Wiest, Baxter, Sanford, and Nixon.
Number 23, Baxter. Number 25, Sanford. And number 52, Will Nixon. Start the second half for your Redmen. Number 5.
Carthage will get the basketball to start our second half. Sykes will trigger the inbound from midcourt. Carthage clamping down defensively, holding the Blue Jays to just 26% shooting in the first half. We're underway second half. Logan will bring it back across, guarded by Coleman. Man-to-man defense here for the Blue Jays. Kelly high on the left, guarded by Wiest. Gives it off to Castell. Castell top of the circle. Fakes to his left, now dishes right to Logan. Back up top to Sykes. Sykes guarded by Baxter. Now gives it off to Kelly. Kelly driving on Wiest, pulls up on the left block, lays it off the glass and in. Malcolm Kelly able to get around Wiest that time, off the left block. Kelly was 7. Lead out to 14 here for the Redmen. Nixon, free throw line, hands it back Wiest, going up on Castell, laid it off the heel, no good. Rebound loose in the paint, deflects around. Kelly able to pick it up. Well, the Redmen have gone after every loose ball here tonight. 20 boards tonight now for the Redmen. They had 22 in the entire contest the other night against Augustana. As Kelly's pass trying to kick it back into the left corner to Sykes was broken up by Wiest out of bounds. Yeah, they did not have an offensive rebound Saturday night until 3 minutes into the second half. Tonight they have 7. Now what do we have? We got Baxter and Sykes tied up, and Baxter going to be called for the foul on the hold. Off the stack here on the left side of the block. Baxter picking up his first on the Blue Jays here in the half. They get it into Castell. Oh, he couldn't finish low right on the feed from Logan, but was able to draw the foul, and Castell going to the line. Foul will go on Will Nixon. That's his first. That'll put Castell on the free throw line, his first trip to the line tonight. Mike Castell back up to 64% now at the free throw line. Well, he was a good chunk of the season sitting right around that 50% mark, but he has worked very hard every day in the gym, working on either side of the floor here, shooting free throws, and it's showing up now in his game. Second one in for Castell, 2 for 2 for Mike. Biggest lead of the game now at 16. 38-22 Redmen. Just underway here in the second half. And they throw it away. Baxter looking underneath, looking for Coleman cutting through, and another turnover. 9th of the game for Elmhurst. Timeout, Blue Jays. Blue Jays will take time here. A 30-second timeout coming just over a minute in to our second half. The Redmen posting a 16-point lead.
Tonight's lucky ticket number 396.
So as we mentioned, The Redmen have one more home game remaining. That'll be next Saturday, as do the Lady Reds. 5 o'clock tip here against Milliken. Both teams will be on the road Saturday. Doubleheader down at the Shirk Center in Bloomington, Illinois. Take on Illinois Wesleyan. Carthage will get the ball back here following the timeout. Malcolm Kelly up top. Got around Wiest on the drive. Finger roll to the basket. We got a blocking foul underneath as Kelly collided inside with Nick Sanford, and Sanford picking up the foul. Tried to help out that time as Kelly drove down the baseline and got past Wiest, and it was Sanford who stepped in trying to cut off Kelly, but they collided. Was late getting the feet set that time to take the charge, and Kelly on the line once again for the Redmen.
Into the Blue Jays lineup is number 2, Nathan Rogers.
Rogers back in now for the Blue Jays. And Kelly makes both. 40-22. 18-point advantage, largest of the game now. Carthage 6-0 run here to start this second half. Baxter to Sanford, works it around near side. Back to Baxter, low left, shovels it inside to Nixon. He'll finish with a two-hand flush. First points of the second half for Elmhurst. Nixon now with 4. 40-24, Redmen in front. Castell now gives it off to Kelly, driving in out of the right corner, lays it off the glass and in. Again, Kelly taking the drive on Rogers and around Nixon. Able to get right to the rim and lay it in. Kelly now with 11. Coleman now to Baxter, back to Coleman here on the near wing. Takes the one dribble, fires it into Nixon. Nixon got Castell off his feet, finishes. Three-point play upcoming here for Will Nixon as Castell will pick up his third foul. So it'll be the first charged foul on the Redmen here in the second half, the third personal on Castell. And Will Nixon to complete the three-point play. This one's up and in. Nixon now with 7 points. Lead down to 15 here, 2.5 minutes in second half. Senior now high on the right. His first touch here of this second half. Marlin guarded hard by Sanford up top. They kind of lost Senior there a couple of times on the three-point arc, and he made them pay, going 3 for 3. Kelly with a lean around jumper that time around Rogers, no good. Castell with the offensive rebound and the stick back. Boy, the Redmen have done an outstanding job on the glass here tonight. That is their 8th offensive board and their 22nd of the ball game. Nixon again inside, able to finish, counted and one. Well, it's clear what the Blue Jays are doing here in this second half. They're just going to shovel it inside, give it to the big man Nixon. Kelly picking up the foul, that is his first. Second on the Redmen here in the half. And Carthage will take a timeout. Timeout Redmen. 3 minutes in. And it'll be a full timeout. We'll break as well. 44-29. Redmen lead it here. Back after this on AM 1050 WLIP. Now following the timeout, Nixon able to complete the three-point play from the stripe. And Nixon now with 10 points. Brings his team back to within 14. 44-30, Redmen leading. John Weiser back with you at the Tarble Arena. Senior driving right side, lays it up and in. Marlin Senior now with 17, leading all scorers. Again, the sea just parted there, and Senior took it right down the lane for the easy layup. Now setting up, Coleman, deep three over Van Wyk. That's flat off the rim. The rebound pulled in by Kelly. 23 rebounds tonight for the Redmen. 23 to 14 advantage. Now Logan, high on the right. Takes a dribble between the circles. Works it off left side to Kelly. Switch up there as Rogers now guarding Kelly. Dump it into Senior. Senior, the 16-footer left baseline jumper, good. Back-to-back buckets by Marlin Senior. He has 19, 48-30. Now down the lane, Rogers tried to dish it back, dumped it back to Baxter. It's intercepted by Sykes, out to Kelly. Kelly driving hard. We got a blocking foul. Coleman tried to get back to take the charge again, but was late setting the feet in the block that time. So Coleman picks up his third, and Malcolm Kelly back at the free throw line for the Redmen. Kelly able to pop in the first. Malcolm just a shade under 21 points per game in conference games this year. He has been the offensive force for the Redmen, to say the least. Particularly in the conference games. Joined the team after the first semester ended. The trip to Florida. As Reese Hirth will check in for Kelly now. Kelly exits with 13 points. 50-30, Redmen by 20 as they'll rip up a quick three here on the near side, and it goes down. Three-pointer that time by Nathan Rogers, able to go in. 50-33, Redmen by 17. 15-24 to go here in this second half. Logan around to Sykes, left side three. That one's off the rim, no good. Hirth able to hustle and grab the rebound. Then tried to throw it back across the middle of the floor, and it was knocked out by Nixon. Looking for Sykes that time was Hirth. Nixon able to get his big paws on that one to knock it away out of bounds. Carthage will set it up here offensively. Good start to this half here for the Redmen. Again, the first 5 minutes were going to be critical here. The Redmen have weathered that. Logan now on the drive, jump stop, going over Nixon, lays it up and in. Logan that time, a little jump stop in the lane, then leaned in and over Nixon off the glass. The ball knocked out of bounds, and it goes off the shoulder. Kevin Sykes, an excellent job on the inbound pass that time. Gets it into the hands of Baxter. Baxter had it knocked away and was last to touch it, and the Blue Jays will take a timeout. Just over 5 minutes gone by here in our second half. 52-33 in favor of the Redmen. As the Blue Jays now down to 3 timeouts remaining here in the contest. Lady Reds have opened up a 34-29 advantage now over Elmhurst. 7 minutes into the second half in that ball game. Remains a 5-point Lady Red lead. In that ball game, Stephanie Kuzmanik with 13, Christy Schmidt with 8. Again, 13 minutes to play. It is 37-29. Lady Reds leading Elmhurst, looking for their 13th consecutive win, which would be a club record for the Lady Reds. It'll be Van Wyk, Senior, Logan, Sykes, and Hirth for the Redmen. Sanford, Nixon, Coleman, along with Nathan Rogers and Taylor Baxter. Carthage will inbound. Logan looking to trigger. Gets it to Van Wyk. Back to Logan in the left corner. Takes the dribble back up top. 52-33. Redmen in front. Logan now works off the screen set by Senior. Senior gets the return pass. Had it knocked away, and it rolls underneath the basket. Picked up by Nixon. Turnover by the Redmen. Coleman spin move. Walked with the basketball, or we got a foul? What are we at? Rick O'Neill going to call a foul on the floor that time. It's going to go on Logan. And they say he was on the arm, and it was before the shot. So Blue Jays will inbound left to the basket. Mike Costell checking in for Marlin Sr. Senior with 4 points here in the second half, 19 on the night. They get it into Nixon, going up and over Van Wyk. And with one hand, puts it up and in. It's no question they're going to try and pound the ball into Nixon here in this second half. Nixon with 10 second half points already. Now they try and toss it over the top from Costell down to Van Wyk. It's knocked away by Sanford. Carthage will inbound left to the basket. 52-35, Redmond leading here, 14:08 to play. Logan inbound left to the basket, all the way up top, looking for Van Wyk. Gets it back to Logan now, high on the right wing, guarded by Coleman. Logan with the dribble around the Costell screen. Works it off left side to Hurth. Hurth gets a screen from Van Wyk. Van Wyk called for the offensive foul. Dipped the shoulder, slid into Sanford, an easy call for Rick O'Neill. Second foul on Van Wyk, each team with 4 team fouls now. Blue Jays will bring it up, trailing by 17. Now Coleman works it back up top to Sanford, back to Coleman in the left wing. At the wing out on Costell. Now bounce feed into Nixon. Nixon, turnaround shot over Van Wyk, no good. Sanford with the rebound, goes back up short and then taken away by Costell. Laid that one short, almost wedged it right between the rim and the backboard off the right side. And Costell able to clear it out. Redmond dominating glass here, 24-13 advantage, and a three-pointer for Reese Hurth off the left wing. Reese, his first points tonight. And the lead back out to 20, second time tonight. Redmond have posted a 20-point lead. Now Baxter high on the left, trying to drive on Hurth, and Hurth commits the foul. Reese, that's his first, 5th on the Redmond. Baxter will exit here, as coming in will be Bryant Ackerman. So get it in, they off the inbound, and Sanford rolled an ankle. Him and Costell going for that ball, and Sanford slow to get back up. Costell picking up foul number 4. He will come out as Marlin Sr. will check back in. Sanford walking it off. It's kind of an awkward move there as they were going for that rebound, and Sanford left his feet into the body of Costell, and looked like he rolled that ankle. He's going to try and walk it off here on the near sideline. As up and in off the right wing is Nathan Rogers. Rogers with 11 points in the game. 55-37, Carthage in front, 12:45 to play. Big ball game here for both these teams. In that 3rd and 4th spot in the conference, trying to get into the conference tournament. You got 4 teams battling out for those 2 spots: Carthage, Augustana, North Central, and Elmhurst. Hurth now, off to Senior. Senior leans in right side, puts one up, no good. Kept alive inside by Van Wyk. Another offensive board for the Redmen, their 8th of the game. Excellent work inside by Van Wyk. Now Logan will work it back to Hurth. He'll pop for 3 right side this time. That one's no good. Another board for Van Wyk. Came right to him on the right block that time. 11 offensive rebounds tonight for the Redmen. Now Hurth. Inside to Van Wyk. Too strong a pass from Hurth through the hands of Van Wyk out of bounds. Good look, just unable to match it up that time as that pass sailed through the fingertips of Van Wyk. Just the 7th turnover by the Redmen tonight. 55-37 Carthage, 11:39 to play. Now Ackerman with it. Top of the circle, gave up the dribble. Looks for Coleman, we got a whistle away from the play. Kelly Sr. getting tangled up inside with Michael Jurkovic. Malcolm Kelly picks up the foul, his second. And that is the 7th team foul, and this will put Jurkovic at the line. So this will be the first trip of the game for Jurkovic. Just his 10th ball game, missing the free throw, but it's tipped back out to Wiest. Wiest back up top, now to Coleman. 3-pointers straight on. That's off the heel, no good. Battle for the loose ball inside, taken away by the Redmen. Logan able to come away with it. 55-37 Carthage. 11-12 to play. Logan driving up the right side all the way to the basket, up and in. Coleman looking like he's expecting to get some sort of an offensive foul, none coming. Couldn't quite see if Logan had the left arm out, but got around Coleman. Now Jurkovic inside over Van Wyk, and Van Wyk commits the foul. Third on Van Wyk, and Jurkovic back at the line for Elmhurst.
Foul number 22, Van Wyk. His third personal foul, 8th team foul.
That is the 8th foul on the Redmen here in the second half, and Jurkovic back on the line, this time shooting 2. His first miss at the line earlier. He's now 3 out of 4 from the line this season. Jurkovic, as I said, just his 10th ball game. Plays averaging about 4 minutes a game. Makes both free throws there. 57-39. 18-point Redmen lead here. Logan again working the right side on the dribble. Rolls it into Senior below the arc, turning, and we got a foul. Foul's going to go on the Blue Jays, and Crittenden that time, hanging on to the shoulder of Senior as he made his turn to the basket. Second on Crittenden, 5th on the Blue Jays. Logan gets it in quickly to Hurth, dumps it to Senior, faked the shot at the free throw line, wants to back it out. Hands it off to Logan now, burns some time here. 10.5 minutes remaining, an 18-point Redmen lead. Kelly now on the right wing. Tried to dump it into Senior and threw it away. Jurkovic on the steal that time. Pass was behind Senior, and Jurkovic with the easy pick. Now Crittenden spinning underneath, got around Senior, lays it up and in left side. Crittenden with the bucket, he has 4. Lead down to 16 here. Carthage slowing up a little bit here on offense, not much movement away from the ball. Logan now driving, got around Coleman, lays it up, count it! That ball hung on the rim, and finally Mother Gravity pulled it through. And Logan with the bucket, the bump, and the 3-point play. Coleman picking up the foul, his 4th. And Dante Logan to complete the and one. And he does. 60-41, Redmen in front here, under 10 minutes to go. Big 3-point play there. So we thought the Blue Jays starting to get some momentum. Take some of the starch out of that. Ackerman now up top, hands it off to Crittenden. Crittenden spinning, lost Senior again, now driving, goes up on Van Wyk, laid it short. Ball tipped through the hands of Senior, picked up by Logan. Redmen throw it away now as they look back on the pass. Logan trying to find Senior, turns it over. 28-15 advantage on the glass here by the Redmen against a team that's +4 on the year on the glass in the Blue Jays. So an excellent effort all the way around by the team here tonight on the glass. Much better effort than was shown Saturday against Augustana. Jurkovic driving down the left side, going over Van Wyk, missing. Senior able to pull it down once again for the Redmen. Blue Jays missing, but one and done for the most part tonight. Now Hurth, left corner. Drops it into Malcolm Kelly. Turnaround shot over Wiest. That one's true. Little 18-footer off the left baseline that time for Kelly over Wiest. 15 tonight for Malcolm Kelly. 62-41. Now Ackerman. And now we got a problem with the shot clock. It never reset. So we'll have a delay here while they figure that one out. what's going on down at the scorer's table? Why did that shot clock not reset? So I'll check and see when that last basket was made, and we'll get a timeout taken by Elmhurst while they figure it out. Blue Jays with the timeout. We'll stop play here. We'll take a break. 8:37 to go. 62-41. Redmond in front. Your home for Carthage basketball is AM 1050 WLIP. John Weiser back with you at the Tarble Arena in Kenosha. 62-41. The Redmond lead the Blue Jays. Meanwhile, down in Elmhurst tonight, Lady Reds have opened up a 10-point lead, 47-37 over Elmhurst. And an upset brewing down in Bloomington. North Central leading Illinois Wesleyan women 84-75. That would be a huge break for the Lady Reds going into that game in Bloomington on Saturday if North Central can hang on. 11 minutes to go in that contest. The Lady Cardinals on top of the Titans, 84-75 at the Shirk. Redmond with the ball here, leading 62-41, and we got a moving screen on Van Wyk, sliding into Nixon. Van Wyk picking up his his fourth. Actually, it's on Malcolm Kelly, my bad. Kelly with the chicken wing that time. On the men's side, Illinois Wesleyan leading North Central 62-49. 7 minutes to go in that one. Wheaton all over North Park, 81-53, as is Augustana on top of Milliken. And Nixon again inside, able to finish at the rim. 14 for Nixon, 12 here in the second half. He's trying to put his team on his back, but turnovers and rebounding as Malcolm Kelly, smart move there, got a pass right on the sideline and threw it right off the defender for Elmhurst, Nathan Rogers. So Carthage will get to inbound here as Olsen almost took it over and back that time. Olsen now working on Coleman with the dribble. 13 to shoot here. Again, Olsen closely guarded, drives the basket, dishes to the corner, right side three by Hurth, rolls out, no good. Van Wyk battling for the ball, and it goes off of Senior out of bounds. Van Wyk just could not keep a hand on it. Credit Nixon that time. Stuck his right arm in there and knocked it away from Van Wyk, and Senior couldn't clamp on it either as it rolled off of him out of bounds. Now Hurth trying to go for a steal and got too much body and called for the foul on Baxter. Hurth picking up his second. That's the 10th foul now on the Redmond. Double bonus here the rest of the way out for the Blue Jays. And Elmhurst, a very good free throw shooting team, and they will be at the line the rest of the game. Taylor Baxter now drops it in. As a team, the Blue Jays 76% from the line. Baxter making the first. Second one up and in. 62-45, just over 7 minutes remaining. Good crowd here tonight, about 800 or so. And the Redmond back home a week from Saturday. Lady Reds and Redmond, their final home game, Saturday, February 28th, or 22nd, I should say. 5 o'clock start here at the Tarble Arena. To see you in person for both of those games. Could mean some conference tournament positioning for both teams. The Reds and Redmond will have Senior Day Saturday, February 22nd. Kelly for three, top of the circle. That one clanks off, no good. Van Wyk with another offensive board. That's 3 here in the second half for Cameron Van Wyk. Carthage will reload here. Olsen trying to get around Baxter. Now hands it off to Kelly on the right wing. Kelly now got around Rogers, lays it up with the left hand. Oh, it curled off, no good. Senior tried to deflect it, and it goes off of Coleman out of bounds. It'll be Carthage basketball. Marlin Senior with the quick hand that time, deflected it off the shoulder of Coleman out of bounds. Coleman let it roll out, and it will be Carthage ball. 62-45, Redmond lead here. We approach the 6-minute mark remaining in this ball game. Hurth faking the shot, got around Nixon, drives it all the way to the rim, laid it short. Rebound again to Van Wyk. 4 offensive boards in the second half for Cameron Van Wyk. The Redmen have just been all over the glass here tonight. Now a bump up top. Sanford bumping Malcolm Kelly. Sanford picking up the foul, his third. Sixth, make it the seventh team foul, so bonus free throws here for the Redmen. Jurkovic coming back in along with Crittenden, Wyatt, Wiest, and Ackerman. So 5 in here for the Blue Jays as Kelly knocks down the bonus free throw. He'll get one more. Malcolm Kelly with a strong second half here as well. Kelly with 14 of his 19 points, or I should say 15 of his 17 points here in the second half. We got a substitution here as Kelly and will sit down here, and Kevin Sykes back in for the Redmen. 64-45, Carthage in front here, 5:45 remaining. And down at Elmhurst, the Lady Reds pulling away from the Blue Jays, now up 12 with 2.5 to play down there. And the other big game happening down in Bloomington on the women's side. North Central, a 15-point lead now on Illinois Wesleyan with 9:40 to go in Bloomington. That's on the women's side. And Wyke sets a hard screen, knocking Wyatt to the floor. Well, it gets no rougher than that. Cam takes pleasure in that, I'm sure. Now Senior driving in the paint, goes up and over, missed it, got his own rebound, missed it a second time, ball loose, taken away inside, falling to the floor with it is Crittenden, able to get the pass off to Wyatt. Wyatt down the floor to Ackerman. Ackerman driving, reverse layup, good. Ackerman with the field goal, 64-47 as we roll under 5 minutes to play. Carthage up 17 here. It would be a huge win here for the Redmen as Olsen driving the basket got fouled hard by Jurkovic. Jurkovic picking up the foul, his first, the 8th on the Blue Jays. Miles Olsen will go to the free throw line. Blue Jays will take a full timeout. We'll take one more break as well. 4:44 to play. It's the Carthage Redmen 64, Elmhurst 47. Back after this on AM 1050 WLIP. A 17-point lead for the Carthage Redmen as play resumes. Miles Olsen at the free throw line for pair. The sophomore out of East Troy drops in the free throw. Olsen in his 17th game for the Redmen tonight. Knocks down the second. 2 for 2 that trip for Olsen. His first 2 points tonight. 66-47, Redmen in front. 4:35 to play. Lady Reds up 10 with a minute and a half remaining in their ball game down in Elmhurst. 3-pointer on the way. That's a rattle out taken by Ackerman. Rebound, Miles Olsen. That's the story tonight, folks. Rebounding tonight. The Redmen out-rebounding Elmhurst 36-17, including 15 on the offensive glass tonight. A better effort on the glass results in what appears to be a win here for the Redmen. 4 minutes left and they're up by 19. Senior now with 7 on the shot clock. Cut off. Now spins through the paint. Left corner kick out to Sykes. Drops it in for the triple. Kevin Sykes with his first long distance shot tonight. He has 5. Now the ball loose on the floor. Hirth and Wiest colliding, and the foul is going to go on Reese Hirth. That is his third, all coming here in the second half. Double bonus here as Wiest will go to the free throw line. Well, the Redmen have done a job on Wiest tonight. 0 for 4 from the field. 2 points tonight for Kyle Wiest. Again, coming in, leading his team in scoring at 14 per game. Don't forget, we'll have our post-game wrap-up here on 1050 WLIP. We'll visit with head coach Bosko Jurkovic. Run down all of the scoring totals for you tonight. We'll run down all of the scores on both the men's and women's side in the CCIW in our post-game report as Wiest makes both free throws. Kyle Wiest with 6 points tonight. Again, 14-point average. Olsen gets it to Senior. Senior now has to get it across. Marlin having problems, and a timeout taken by the Redmen. Olsen committed the Cardinals' sin there as a guard. He brought the ball up, and as soon as there was pressure coming at him, stopped just short of the half-court line. And didn't have anywhere to go with it. Dumped it backwards to Senior, and then they immediately double-teamed him with the countdown to 9, and Bosco wisely taking the timeout. Carthage with 3 timeouts remaining. Blue Jays have 1 timeout remaining. Each team in the bonus. Blue Jays shooting the double bonus. Carthage in the 1-and-1. Possession arrow favoring Elmhurst here at this point. Redmen trying to split their season series with the Blue Jays. Try and stay a game ahead of Augustana in 3rd place in the CCIW. Now we got all kinds of grabbing and shoving as they try and stack everybody up here on the inbounds. Now they get everybody set. Just play nice here. Senior will trigger the inbound in the backcourt. Get it into Van Wyk. Van Wyk gets it back to Senior just across. No, they did not. Over and back. Seniors caught the ball just across the center stripe on the return feed from Van Wyk, but then put it on the floor on the other side of the line, and the turnover by the Redmen. Just the 12th tonight committed by Carthage. 20-point Redmen lead here late. Wiest and a body foul that time on Miles Olsen. That's his first. Double bonus upcoming here. Timeout taken by the Redmen. A full timeout, we will keep it here. Well, it's about to go final down at Elmhurst. And the Lady Reds in front here. 62-46 with about 46 seconds left in that contest. If it holds true, Lady Reds will hang on to first place because going on down in Bloomington tonight, North Central a 20-point lead on Illinois Wesleyan in the second half. 101-83 with 7 minutes left down in Bloomington. North Central, that system game, that scrambled mess that they play, has thrown a curveball into Illinois Wesleyan tonight. North Central getting 17 from Marissa Cladis tonight. And 10 from Tess Guthart. 9 from Kelsey Cooling. And they're putting a hurt on the Illinois Wesleyan women tonight. 101-83 with under 7 minutes to go. And if that stands pat here, Lady Reds picking up the win. As Wiest able to hit the first of 2 free throws here. Lady Reds going to 11-0 in conference play. 20-2 overall. With 3 left. Kelly now gets it across, and as he got it across, a hard foul that time by Eric Leonard just into the ball game. Leonard, a sophomore of Niantic, Illinois, commits the 9th team foul on the Blue Jays. And Malcolm Kelly on the line for the 1-and-1. Kelly missing the free throw there, and the rebound to the Blue Jays. One of the few boards the Blue Jays have been able to snare tonight. 69-51 Redmen. 3 ball by Wiest is no good. Rebound tipped back out to Logan. Logan now down the floor, will circle back. It's a double team. Got it to Van Wyk. Now back to Senior, back to Logan. They'll foul Logan here. That'll put the Redmen in the double bonus, as reaching in and fouling was Eric Leonard. Well, it's now final. Lady Reds defeat Elmhurst tonight, 65-48. A school record 13th straight win for the Lady Reds. They now go to 20-2, 11-0 in conference play. And tell you what, with the way that league is shaping up and the way that score is reading down at Illinois Wesleyan, 102-85, Lady Reds would have a 2-game advantage going into that game in Bloomington. They handed Illinois Wesleyan their only conference loss is on the drive out of the left corner. Crittenden fouled by Van Wyk. Van Wyk picking up his 4th. I'll put Crittenden at the free throw line here. So Elmhurst getting to the line here tonight. 18 of 19 from the stripe. Redmond 15 of 16 from the stripe. And Crittenden missing the front end. Crittenden with 4 points tonight, 2 for 4 from the floor, now 0 for 1 at the line. Lefty makes the second, he'll come out as Sanford will check in for the Blue Jays. 71-52, Redmond leading, 2:40 to play. Inbound to Senior, try to get it back to Logan, tip back over to Kelly. Cross to Senior. Senior trying to drive out of traffic and takes it across, beating the 10-second count. And then Senior fouled hard in the corner by Jurkovic. Double bonus time now for Marlin Senior. He'll get 2 tosses here. Marlin with just 4 second half points, 19 on the night for Marlin. As this one is up, bounces around and dances through for Marlin Senior. First trip to the line tonight for Marlin. Makes them both. 73-52 with 2:27 remaining. Bring it down is Leonard. Leonard across midcourt, picked up by Kelly to Wiest. Left side it goes. On the drive out of the corner, Ackerman off the glass, too strong. Rebound Sanford, he'll go back up and lay it in. Nick Sanford with just 4 points tonight. Redmond have done an excellent job on the leading scorers here for the Blue Jays. Take them away tonight. Carthage will get it down the floor. Van Wyk with a jam. Cam Van Wyk with the slam. That brings the students to their feet here. Jurkovic inside, lays it too strong off the glass, got his own rebound, kicks it back out to Leonard. Leonard will pull up from the free throw line and hit. Eric Leonard with 2 points, his first 2 tonight. 75-56, 90 seconds to play. Get it to Van Wyk, back into the hands of Logan. Logan now weaving his way in the backcourt, beating the double team, takes it across. Now reach foul by Wiest, I believe, here. His first. Logan at the line for the double bonus. Bosco going to empty the bench here. McNellis going to check back in. 1:17 to play as Logan drops in the free throws. Scott McNellis, Sean Valentine in. Van Wyk coming out, getting a nice hand, along with Marlin Senior taking his seat. Wiest will come out. Charles Glass, a senior from Urbana, Illinois, in for the Blue Jays. And Logan misses the second. Dante tonight with 14 points, 76-56. Ackerman for the 3. It's an air ball, and it goes out of bounds to the Redmond. Tucker Harlan will check in for the first time tonight, a freshman out of Washington, Illinois. And Adam Lewis, the 6'3" senior out of Racine, makes his first appearance, make that his second appearance of the season for the Redmond. So Lewis gets it to Valentine, back to Logan. Logan will take it across, under a minute we go. Valentine will shuffle it back out to Logan. They'll spread the floor here, 4 corners here for the Redmond. 19 to shoot, Sykes with it on at the center circle. Sykes guarded by Leonard. pounds the dribble, gets it back to Lewis. Lewis lost it, picked it back up. Back out to Logan with 2 on the shot clock. Logan fires it up, missing. Valentine fighting for that rebound. They get the ball tie up inside. Possession arrow to the Blue Jays. Lewis and Valentine tying up Tucker Harlan that time for that loose ball. Alternate possession arrow to Elmhurst, and they will bring it down. Shot clock dark. Redmond are going to pick up a win and solidify their spot in third place. Holding on to third place with the win here tonight, as they will go to 8-4 in conference play. Heading to Bloomington on Saturday. A big win here at home tonight as they knock off the Blue Jays by a final of 76-56. Once again, your final tonight from the Tarble Arena in Kenosha. The Redmen 76, the Blue Jays 56. We will pause and take a 2-minute break. When we return, we'll have our post-game report. We'll run down all of the numbers, visit with Bosco Jurkovic, and get you caught up to date with all of the scores in the CCIW tonight. A Redmond win tonight, 76-56 over Elmhurst. Back after this on AM 1050 WLIP.
Please join us this Saturday.
Big win for the Redmen tonight as they solidify third place in the CCIW, maintain that third place position. Again, the top 4 teams in the CCIW make the conference playoffs. And the Redmen, a 20-point win tonight, 76-56 over Elmhurst, avenging a 3-point loss earlier this season down in Elmhurst. Carthage led by 12 at the break, 34-22, and really weren't challenged here in this second half. Carthage scored the first 6 points here in the second half to take an 18-point lead, 42-24, and put it on cruise control from there as that lead grew to as much as 20 on a pair of free throws by Malcolm Kelly with 15 minutes to go here in the contest. And the Blue Jays were unable to get any closer than 17 the rest of the way. The last time 64-47 with 5 minutes to play in this one. The storyline stat tonight for the Redmen, glasswork. After getting pounded on the boards by Augustana on Saturday night to the tune of 39-22, the Redmen turned the trick on Elmhurst tonight, out-rebounding the Blue Jays 39-22, including snaring 15 offensive boards here tonight. Leader in that offensive board statistic was Cameron Van Wyk. 5 of his 6 boards tonight came on the offensive glass, and for Van Wyk, all 5 of them in the second half, all key off misses that turned back into points for the Redmen tonight. So outstanding job on the glass, out-rebounding the Blue Jays 39-22. The other storyline tonight, the Redmen completely neutralized Kyle Wiest. Wiest, the team's leading scorer for the Blue Jays at 14 points per game, held to just 4 tonight, as was Nick Sanford. Wiest and Sanford, the 2 leading scorers at 14 points and 13 points per game, combined tonight for 1 for 10 shooting and 8 points. Both got to the free throw line. Wiest 4 for 4, Sanford 2 for 2, but Wiest missed all 4 of his 3-point shots and was 0 for 5 from the floor here tonight. So a great job defensively, good job offensively by the Redmen tonight, particularly getting Marlon Sr. involved tonight. Sr. with 15 first half points. He finished with game high honors tonight with 21 in the contest, just shy of a double-double, collecting 9 rebounds this evening as well. But a lot of crooked numbers in that rebounding column for the Redmen, and a good bounce-back game here tonight. Carthage also doing a great job defensively, holding the Blue Jays to just 34% shooting, 17 of 49, and the Blue Jays just 3 for 16 from behind the arc tonight. So all-around effort on both ends of the floor tonight produce a Redmen win, 76-56. With the win, the Redmen now 15-8. They are 8-4 in conference play, alone in third place. Both Wheaton and Illinois Wesleyan winning their games tonight. So the top 3 remain the same. Wheaton at 10-2, Illinois Wesleyan at 9-2, Carthage at 8-4. Augustana was winning their ball game down at Milliken. We'll check all of those scores for you a bit later on in our post game. But as it stands now, the Redmen at 8-4 stand a pretty good chance of securing a playoff berth in the conference tournament. They take away the tiebreaker edge on Elmhurst. Elmhurst falling to 5-6 in conference play, 13-9 overall. North Central losing tonight to Illinois Wesleyan. All intents and purposes, they are out of the playoff hunt. They are sitting at 5-7, and they would need some drastic help to get to that hang on to that fourth spot, as they will face Wheaton on Saturday at home, and then close out the regular season on the road at Elmhurst on the 22nd. So right now your top three pretty well set, perhaps even the top four in conference play. But again tonight, it was the Redmen effort on the defensive end, particularly on the glass tonight. Redmen did a great job protecting the ball as well, did not turn it over, only 12 turnovers tonight. And just 5 assists for the Blue Jays tonight. All 5 of their assists on their made baskets coming here in the second half, as the Redmen pull out a 20-point win, 76-56. Marlin Sr. with 21, leading 3 players in double figures. Senior 8 for 15 from the floor, 3 for 4 from behind the arc for his 21 tonight. Malcolm Kelly 17 tonight. Kelly 4 for 9, including a 3-pointer, but Kelly got to the free throw line, 8 for 9 from the stripe tonight, finishing with 17. Dante Logan double figures tonight. Logan 5 for 7 from the floor, 4 for 5 from the line, and 14 points. Meanwhile, for the Blue Jays, Will Nixon with 14, 12 of them in the second half. And Nathan Rogers with 11 coming off the bench for Elmhurst, the only players for the Blue Jays in double figures tonight. Again, the rebounding total, 39-22. The Redmen out-rebound the Blue Jays tonight. 15 on the offensive glass. 5 of those on the offensive end coming from Cameron Van Wyk, 4 from Marlin Sr. So a great effort tonight on the glass. Good defensive effort, holding the team to just 34% shooting, and the Redmen pull out a 20-point win here tonight by a final of 76-56. The Redmen head to Bloomington on Saturday. They'll take on Illinois Wesleyan, a 7 o'clock tip down at the Shirk Center. And we'll have that broadcast for you right here on 1050 WLIP. Joined now by head basketball coach Bosko Jurkovic. And Bosko, we talked about it, rebounding, and rebound some more. And that was what your team did here tonight. That's the big stat here tonight. 39-22 advantage on the boards, 15 on the offensive glass.
If I didn't know better, I think that we interspersed Saturday night stat sheet, because I think it was 39-22. That's how insane it is. So now we're 50-50 in the last 2 games. Rebounding was important, but the defensive effort was even more important. 2 days of very focused practice. We thought that we had an idea what would make them work harder for their shots than we allowed them to do down there. And it really paid off. The execution, the communication on the defensive end, I thought was excellent.
Anytime you can hold Wiest and Sanford to a combined 1 for 10 shooting and 0 for 4 from behind the arc, and only, I'm totaling up here, 8 points total between the 2 leading scorers for the Blue Jays. That's a heck of a defensive effort.
I thought that across the board we played very good defense. Again, guys that sometimes don't get the minutes and the dimension. Cameron Van Wyk on his birthday was good again tonight. I thought that Miles Olson had his best ever Carthage game. In control, making plays, making good decisions while he was on the court. I thought Sean Valentine's first half was very good, and a very solid all-around game from Senior and Kelly, which you sort of expected.
Yeah, we talked about Marlin Sr. He got into the flow early, 15 first half points, led your team in scoring tonight with 21, and he was in the flow right from the get-go. I think he made his first 3 3-point shots tonight as well, and he was just in a groove there early on.
He's been such a good player all year long that the last 2 or 3 or 4 games, people have a tendency to say he's not playing well. That's not really true. He just hasn't played to the all-conference caliber that he had played at for the first 16 or 17 games. He's been a very complete player for us. He's a good defensive player. He's averaged over 6 rebounds a game. He's shot at 50% for the year. He's been an absolute rock for this basketball team, and I was really excited for Marlon, because Marlon's a quality guy, for him to be able to step up tonight and do an excellent job.
Bosco, looking down this stat sheet again on the rebounding totals, a lot of guards there with some crooked numbers. You've got Logan getting 4 boards tonight, all in the defensive glass. You've got Kelly pulling down a couple of boards there. Miles Olson with a pair of rebounds. Everybody got in the effort. You could just see the different effort tonight, physically going after every 50-50 ball tonight, I think went the Redmond way.
I couldn't agree more. A lot of that was Van Wyk on the offensive boards. He gave us 3 or 4 extra possessions that we were able to either use clock or get an easy basket as a result of his work on the offensive boards. As I said, I think that some of the guys, it was Logan very good tonight. He made good decisions for the most part. He was 5 assists and 2 turnovers. Took the ball to the basket. He scores 14 points. When he scores the ball, we're a better basketball team, because then the other team has to guard 5 instead of 4. And I thought he did an excellent job tonight of probing and then attacking what the defense gave him. And now we're a 2-game season. We've got to go down to Bloomington on Saturday. That's never a heck of a lot of fun. But after tonight's ball game, everybody's going to be upbeat, a little bit better confidence level going down there, and we'll see what we can do. And then a week from Saturday, we're back here against Milliken to wrap up the career, or at least home career, of 3 very significant seniors. 4 if you count Adam Lewis, who's been a terrific practice player. And Adam Lewis, we don't have to worry about. He's a 3.9 student who's already got a job with one of the premier accounting firms in the world, so he's done what he's supposed to do here at Carthage. We're thrilled to have had him in the program. And for Sykes and Kelly and Marlon Sr., there are guys who've played a lot of basketball in this building, and they should be sent off with a nice note a week from Saturday.
You keep pace with the top 2 teams in the league. Wheaton winning their game tonight, Illinois Wesleyan defeating North Central tonight. So you're still within striking distance to perhaps move up into that number 2 spot, maybe the number 1 spot, depending on some help there down the road. But more importantly, you solidified a spot here tonight with 8 wins. And we always talk before the season what you think might do it, and we've always said 9 seems to be that magic number. You get 8-9 wins in conference play, that might be where you get into that top 4.
We've looked at all that stuff through the years, and it's frankly been unkind to us more than it's been kind to us. Some years 7 got in, and we'd lose that tie. 3 years ago, we were 9 and won the last 4 or 5 games, and that wasn't good enough. So you just don't ever like to play that game. You want to give yourself an opportunity to get yourself into the tournament without having to be concerned about that. And I still don't know what all the math stuff. I suppose at this stage, with the North Central loss, it would take some great creativity for us not to get into the tournament, but let's just play them 1 game at a time and take care of our own business.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one down at the Shirk. Wins come few and far between for teams that head down there playing the Wesleyan men's team down there.
This is probably the 20th year of the Shirk, and I'm not sure that they have 20 losses in 20 years. That might be on the high side. It's a very good home court advantage. The crowds are excellent. Their teams are always excellent. The student body is very supportive. So it's a very difficult place to play, and I don't even want to talk about that because everybody's record, and people would say, well, you haven't done it well at Wesleyan. No, we haven't, but neither has anybody else. They just are such a difficult out at home. That doesn't mean we're not going to go down there and give it a good effort, not go down there with some ideas that I think will work, but then it's a matter of making big shots and big plays and seeing what you can get done. And, hey, funnier things have happened. We're a good basketball team, too. That's why I was proud of the guys tonight. This was an important game for us. We had put ourselves with our non-conference schedule in the early part of the conference season that everybody was looking at Carthage and saying, pretty darn good basketball team. In the last 2 games, the wheels came off a little bit. Not that we lost at Wheaton, but how we played at Wheaton was disappointing. And Saturday was the most disappointing game of our season just because we let a team come in here and dictate to us how the game was going to be played. And that's not what we're about. Certainly not this year what we're about. So, hey, behind us, now it's a matter of getting ready. A day of a lot of individual stuff tomorrow, a lot of running and preparing, and a good hard day of practice on Friday. And we will head to Bloomington and see what we can do at the Shirk Center.
All righty, Boschko. Thank you so much for stopping up. Congratulations on a big home win here tonight.
Hey, I appreciate it, Johnny Mills. Thank you, guys.
Boschko Jurkovich joining us on our post-game here tonight. Carthage with the big win at home, 76-56, your final. So we take a look at the final numbers tonight. Marlin Sr. leading the way with 21 tonight. Senior 8 for 15 from the floor, 3 of 4 from three-point range, and 2 of 2 from the line. He also had 9 rebounds, 1 board short of a double-double tonight for Marlin Sr. 21 tonight for one of the seniors that will be honored next Saturday here at Carthage. Malcolm Kelly with 17. Kelly 4 for 9 tonight from the floor, including a three-pointer, but he got to the free throw line. 8 for 9 from the stripe tonight, 17 for Malcolm Kelly. 14 for Dante Logan. Logan 5 of 7 from the floor, missed his three-point shot, but was 4 of 5 from the free throw line for his 14 points tonight. 6 points for Mike Costell. Costell 2 for 3 from the floor, also a pair of free throws for Costell. Picked up his 4th foul midway through the second half, but still finished with 6 points, 4 rebounds tonight for the big man Costell. Cameron Van Wyk with 4. Van Wyk off the bench, 2 for 2 tonight, but his effort tonight was on the offensive glass. He had 5 offensive rebounds here in the second half, all led to second chance points tonight for the Redmen. Van Wyk, 6 rebounds, 4 points in 27 minutes tonight for Carthage. Kevin Sykes with 5 points. Sykes 2 for 4, including a big three-point shot that pretty much stemmed the rally. Elmhurst had gotten back-to-back buckets, 4 straight points, and they worked their way into a chance to try and get their way back into the game. But with the shot clock going down, Sykes able to drill a three-pointer out of the left corner that bumped the lead back up to 17, and for all intents and purposes took any chance of a Blue Jay rally out the window with it. 3 points for Reese Hurth tonight, 2 points each for Scott McNellis and Sean Valentine. Miles Olson a strong night tonight. 2 points tonight, played 11 minutes, but did not turn the ball over, working the point guard tonight for the Redmen. As we heard Bosco mention, perhaps his best game as a Redman tonight for Miles Olson coming off the bench, spotting Dante Logan for 11 minutes tonight. That closes out the scoring for the Redmen. For the game tonight, the Redmen 26 of 52, back at that 50% mark. And they were 6 of 15 from behind the arc, and they made their free throws tonight, 18 out of 20 from the stripe. For the Blue Jays, just 2 players in double figures. Will Nixon with 14. It was Nathan Rogers with 11. Taylor Baxter with 7. Bryant Ackerman off the bench for 7. 5 points for Eric Crittenden. 4 points each for Kyle Wiest and Nick Sanford. What's significant there, Wiest and Sanford, the 2 leading scorers for the Blue Jays, at 14 and 13 points per game respectively. They were held to 1 for 10 from the floor tonight, and 8 total points between the 2 leading scorers. Great job tonight defensively for the Redmen on their 2 hot scorers. Eric Leonard off the bench for 2. Pat Coleman, Peyton Wyatt, Tucker Harlan, Kenny Payunk, and Charles Glass all played, did not score for the Blue Jays tonight. Again, the Redmen turned the tables on the rebounding chart tonight after getting out-rebounded 39-22 by Augustana. It was the Redmen out-rebounding the Blue Jays tonight, 39-22, including 15 on the offensive glass. 9 of those boards going to Marlin Sr. tonight. Leading rebounder for the Blue Jays was Nick Sanford with 5. Turnovers, Carthage with 12, the Blue Jays with 11. And for the game, those 11 turnovers led to 14 points for the Blue Jays. Carthage turning it over 12 times, leading to 14 Blue Jay points. Blue Jays forcing 12 takeaways by the Redmen, and that led to 12 points for Carthage tonight. Redmen with 8 assists, the Blue Jays with 5 in the ball game. Blue Jays shoot 34%, 17 of 49. They were just 1 for 7 from behind the arc in the second half. For the game, long distance, the Blue Jays were 3 of 16. They were 19 of 21 from the stripe. Other games tonight involving the CCIW men. Illinois Wesleyan defeated North Central in Naperville tonight, 80-68, the final in that one. As Illinois Wesleyan, the Titans getting 18 from Jordan Nelson, 17 from Dylan Overstreet, 15 from Eric Dortch in posting their 9th win in conference play to go to 9-2, 19-3 overall. North Central, 3 players in double figures. It was Landon Gamble with 17 and Jack Burchett with 16. Vince Kamek, player of the week this week in the CCIW, finished with 15. Again, Illinois Wesleyan with the win, 80-68. Titans now 19-3 overall, 9-2, alone in second place, just ahead of the Redmen. The Wheaton Thunder pick up a win in Chicago tonight. They bury the North Park Vikings 103-66, the final in that one, as they get big games tonight out of Demos, Caleb Demos with 21 tonight, and 14 for Fisher tonight, and 15 from Nate Haynes, 18 from Braden Tischer, as they destroy North Park tonight by a final of 103-66. So the conference leaders, Wheaton Thunder, roll their record to 10-2 in league play, 17-6 overall. The Thunder will be home, or I should say will be at home on Saturday. Excuse me, on the road as Saturday, as they will take on North Central in Naperville Saturday night. Meanwhile, North Park falling to 1-10 in conference play, 4-18 overall. North Park Vikings are at Milliken Saturday afternoon. And the other final tonight, on men's side, it was Augustana, a little trouble in Decatur tonight, knocking off Milliken by a final of 76-59. And so Augustana remains in fourth place with a 7-5 record, 17-6 overall, as the Vikings get 12 points from Tavian Johnson, and 9 points from Norcia, and 8 points from Ben Ryan tonight, as they knock off Milliken 76-59. So a look of your standings on the men's side: Wheaton 10-2, Illinois Wesleyan 9-2, Carthage 8-4, Augustana 7-5. So that's your top four right now. And on the outside looking in, Elmhurst at 5-6, North Central at 5-7, Milliken 1-10, and North Park 1-10 going into weekend play. On the women's side tonight, it was the Lady Reds knocking off Elmhurst down in Elmhurst by a final of 65-46. So the Lady Reds pick up their 13th consecutive win of the year. That's a team record now for the Lady Reds. They have 3 players in double figures. Stephanie Kuzmanik, a triumphant return after turning her ankle last week Tuesday, missing last week Wednesday and Saturday's game, returns to the starting lineup tonight for 19 points on 5 of 9 shooting. She made 3 of 4 from three-point range, made all 6 of her free throws, added 8 rebounds and 4 assists to boot, in leading 3 players in double figures for the Lady Reds. Kuzmanik with 19, Christy Schmidt with 14, Alexis Hahn off the bench for 13, a double-double tonight for Hahn, 13 points, 13 boards, coming off the bench for the Lady Reds tonight in a 65-46 win over the Blue Jays. The Lady Reds now 20-2 on the year. More importantly, they hold on to first place at 11-0 on the season. Down in Bloomington tonight, just about over, and it's an 8-point North Central lead, 118-110 over Illinois Wesleyan. That game about to go final. If it does, that would drop Illinois Wesleyan to 9-2 on the season, behind sitting or 8-2 behind the Lady Reds, and that would put the Lady Reds up a game and a half with 2 to play going into that game down in Bloomington. So it's 118-110. It's North Central on top of Illinois Wesleyan women, that with about 20 seconds left. So that gets you caught up on everything. So regardless, going down Saturday, 2 big ball games that we'll have for you here on 1050 WLIP. It'll be the Lady Reds and the Lady Titans from Illinois Wesleyan at 5 o'clock on Saturday. That'll be a 5 o'clock tip, and then followed by the Redmen and the Titans at 7 o'clock. We'll be with you on the broadcast here on 1050 WLIP beginning at 4:30 with the Carthage Sports Report. That'll wrap things up here tonight from the Tarble Arena in Kenosha. My thanks to Pete Sargent for engineering our broadcast tonight back at the WLIP studios. Mike Love for all his work on the video end of things here on the video stream. Steve Maravich, our sports information director, on a great job tonight once again running the stats here. Carthage, a big win here at home by a final of 76-56. John Weiser saying good evening from the Tarble Arena. Hope you'll join us Saturday in Bloomington for a big ball game. Lady Reds and Redmen tip it off at 5 o'clock down in Bloomington, Illinois against Illinois Wesleyan. This has been Carthage Redmen basketball on your home for Carthage Athletics, Kenosha's radio station, AM 1050 WLIP Kenosha. Good night, everyone.